Welcome back to Becoming Her, the podcast for you if you are ready to step into your most magnetic, fully expressed, authentic version of yourself so that you can be, do, have anything that you want in this world. Before we dive deeper into today's episode, I wanted to share that I've currently got 4 spots open for one-to-one coaching over the next 6 months. And this is for the woman who is in her own becoming, the woman who knows that she is meant for more love, more confidence, more self-trust, more power, more aliveness, more receiving, but she can feel that there are parts of her old identity, old patterns, old relationships, old beliefs that are no longer coming with her. And so inside this 6 months container, we work together to support you in becoming the version of you who can actually create and receive the life that you say that you want. Because becoming her isn't just about knowing what you want. It's about becoming the woman who can hold it, choose it, receive it, and stop abandoning herself along the way. And so if you're listening and you can feel that it is your season of becoming braver, more self-led, more magnetic, more deeply in love with yourself and your life, then I would love to support you. And there are 4 spaces available. You can find the details in the show notes down below, or you can send me a message with the word becoming and we can see if you are the right fit. Let's dive in. Today, I want to talk about the void, the space between who you've been and who you're becoming. Because I am in it right now. I can feel that I am different. I am making moves from the version of myself who I say that I want to be. But I would definitely be lying if I said that it was always comfortable. And so the void is the space between who you've been and who you're becoming. And it's where your identity has shifted, right? Like you know that you are different. You can feel it. You are responding differently. Your energy is different. It feels that you are there, but the external reality hasn't quite caught up yet. And so sometimes it can feel quite confusing and it's a very uncomfortable place to be because you can start to doubt yourself of like, have I actually changed? Am I changing? Are things working for me? Because at the end of the day, we want to see the external validation. We want to see the proof in the external that yes, I am different, but this is the void. And this is what I want to talk about today because it can feel like nothing is happening, but actually so much is happening that you don't even see. You are becoming different. And when you shift into a different state, like reality has to reflect back to you. It is only a matter of time, but it is in this process of becoming, that it can feel really uncomfortable. And this is where staying power comes into play, because the ability to stay in the frequency of the shift, right, whilst everything is not catching up, it's a trippy place to be in. And so for me, like sometimes I'm like, is this the right thing? Am I on the right path? And I know that I am, but it still can feel shaky. And that really is the whole point, right? Like faith doesn't mean that there's no doubts. It doesn't mean that you don't wobble here and there, but what faith really is choosing what you know, me choosing what I know, even when it feels unsure. Because the ego is 100% going to try to convince you that nothing is working, that you should just give up. It's going to want to pull you back into that old identity, those old feelings that you have, the feelings of fear, of doubt, of worry that is running through, right? It wants to pull you back into that, like, of, oh my goodness, like, who am I to think that this can be different, right? That I get to be different. And this is why it is so important to pay attention to the micro shifts that you are feeling within yourself. Because if your energy is shifted, life is an energetic game, right? It is an energetic game of energy first, material second. Well, actually, I always say energy first and strategy second. But we're not just talking about business here. We are talking about your being, about your becoming. And so maybe right now, like you are in a void, right? Maybe right now you have been doing the work and you've been doing the work to better yourself in one way, shape, or form, whatever area this is, and you haven't gotten that result yet, right? Like, you are focusing on dating and you've been putting yourself out there, you've been doing the dates, you've been really cultivating those feelings of worthiness, but yet you haven't found that person yet. Or in your health journey, right? You've been doing the diet and you've been going to the gym, but you haven't quite lost the weight that you want to. Or you've been working on your mindset, but then all of a sudden, like, those feelings of doubt, of that self-confidence isn't quite there. It's normal for things to feel like, oh, showing up for your business and going all in and really feeling like, oh my goodness, like, I am a different person. Like, I feel so different when I am doing the things. Like, I have been making moves from the woman that I want to be. I have been showing up. I have been feeling so good about everything, yet nothing has changed. But the truth is everything has changed, because everything happens in the quantum before it happens in the physical, right? And so when I first came across this work, and I would read books like The Science of Getting Rich, Think and Grow Rich, right? Your Invisible Power. It's all about there being a universal mind, and every single thing was first thought in the mind, right? Like, every single thing comes from the ether into play. Everything is a physical manifestation of the spiritual. And so if you have it in your mind, you can absolutely have it in your hand. It just takes time for it to come into play, right? Like, when I found out that I was pregnant, oh my goodness, like, I knew that I was pregnant. I knew that my body was making a baby, but sometimes, right, you fall into those quick fears of, oh my goodness, like, I hope everything's okay. Like, is everything okay? What if it's not okay, right? Like, and then you bring yourself back to, no, everything's fine. Like, everything is perfect. My baby is fine. I am fine. And it is the exact same with that thought, with that intention, with that vision that you are bringing to life, of really being able to stay in the void of, well, what if it's not okay? What if it doesn't work out? What if this happens? Bringing yourself back to just knowing that everything has its own period. But if you are feeling it, if you feel the difference, if you feel that shift, it is only a matter of time until it comes into play. And so being able to really look and find examples of, like, where are you actually becoming? Like, where have you shifted? Where have you changed? Where have you grown? Is the fastest way to get back into the belief and be able to actually navigate the void from that version of you, who you are becoming. Because it's not just about what you do, it's about who you are when you do it. It's be, do, have, and how you navigate the void ultimately determines what comes out of the other side. And so for me, like, I am really stepping into my 7-figure version of myself. I am stepping into the woman who leads a movement of becoming her. And so, of course, I am becoming her right now, right, in real time, like, through doing this YouTube channel. And sometimes there's that doubt of, is this the right path? Is this what I'm doing? And as I'm diving deeper into my 7-figure version of myself, right, the woman who is emotionally intelligent, who is even more self-aware, who is even more deeper in self-love, right, who is non-judgmental, I'm also finding it in the smaller things in my life, right, are shifting. And so one thing is drama, right? I am removing the drama from my life. Like, as I step into this next version of me, I am not available for drama anymore, but I'm also not available for anything that doesn't fully pour into me. And that means friendships as well. And so I am quietly removing myself from friendships that feels quite one-sided, right? Where, like, if I take a step back, if I don't engage, if I don't put in the effort, then is this friendship even there? And I'm not doing it with drama. I'm not doing it with this big announcement, causing a scene or anything. I am just removing myself from the situation, because I don't feel the need to explain myself to people, but from a deeper sense of self-love and self-respect for myself. Like, I'm not going to continue to seek validation, to seek approval from people who it's just not there for, right? Like, I don't need that anymore. And that is one of the shifts where I am like, wow, okay, like, this is me really stepping into that next level, because that is something that I've always really tried to hold on to, is friendships that I've had for a long time. Even if I can feel them drifting apart, even if I can feel like there's something off when I'm growing my business, and that I'll bring myself back down to hold on to those friendships. But I am so focused and so committed to where I am going that if people do not come with me, that is absolutely fine. And massively respecting myself in the actions that I am taking, in the way that I am showing up, in doing the things that feel uncomfortable, even when they are uncomfortable, even when my body is screaming, I don't want to do this, I don't need to do this, let's not do this today, right? I am pushing myself forward. But one of the ways that I am self-respecting myself is in the relationships, in the people that I am having around me. I'm also removing gossip from my life. And so I am not engaging in conversations that end up turning into gossip. I'm not available for it. Like, there is zero drama that is coming with me into this next level. And my boyfriend and I, like, we are both realizing that alcohol just doesn't serve us. And it's again not this big thing of like demonizing alcohol, of making it wrong, of it being from a place of like restriction. It's not that we will never ever drink again, but we are just losing more and more interest in it. We don't drink often anyways, but there's been a few times this summer that we've had a drink, and we just realize that like afterwards the next day, and that like it just is not worth how you feel the next day. It just doesn't feel aligned with the life that we're creating. Like, nights out just do not appeal to us the way that they once did. Like, give me a slow morning, a fresh morning, making breakfast, right? Like going on a nice long country walk on a Saturday morning over a hangover any day. And it's because we're changing, right? We are changing. And as we are changing our frequency, like things just are not resonating with us the same. And so, like, my question for you is, where is your old life starting to feel too small? What are you no longer available for? Like, what are you releasing in order to step into this next version of your becoming? Because the ego wants to think that, like, I don't have to change at all. I just want to get to X, Y, and Z. But the thing is like, nothing changes unless something changes, and you are the change. You are the change that will change your life. And as you do this work, as you start to become this version of you, you will see things that just do not serve you anymore, things that make you not feel good. It can be relationships, it can be habits, it can be social circles, it might be a job. And then another question is like, is there somewhere that is coming up for you right now that is like, you know it, right? You know it, but then there's the ego that doesn't want to let it go yet, like doesn't want to let go of it, because that's something to really pay attention to as well. Because there's something pulling you back to the old life. The thing is, right, is like when we are giving up things that we know aren't serving us, and we are stepping into this void of being like, you know what, okay, like I am going for it. That is the self-love. Like, that is you choosing you. That is no longer abandoning yourself. That is you choosing different. Even if it means that you're not going to be able to hang out with your friends as often. Even if it means like, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to be so bored. Like, no, you're not. Right? When you choose for yourself. And so if you are in the void right now, it does not mean that you are off path, right? It actually might just mean that you are becoming the woman who can finally hold every single thing that you say that you want. And your work in this moment is to stay in the frequency, is to navigate this void from the place of trusting that it's all going to work out. And when that ego comes back, right? When that ego comes up, when that resistance comes in, when everything is screaming at you, face back and go back, stay, my friend, stay, right? So in the Bible, there is the conversation of the Israelites in the desert. That is a perfect example of being in the void, right? Now, they were freed from Egypt, and they were led out into the desert, and they were being led to the promised land, where it was promised with milk and honey and all of this abundance, right? And they started to lose their faith, and they started to wobble, and they started to actually wallow and affirm that story of the doubt. They started to not believe that the promised land was there, and as a result, they weren't able to enter in for 40 years, because God had led them out of Egypt and was leading them there. And this is such a part of the void, because you can be in the void and it can feel like it's not happening. It can feel like, oh my goodness, like maybe actually I'm in this place, I'm in this unknown, I'm not quite where I want to be, but I'm not where I was. But it can feel so much easier to just want to turn back to who you were being, right? Especially on an emotional set point, because that's what's familiar, right? Like, it might not be where you want to be, but at least you know that it's there, right? It feels safe, even if it actually isn't the safest place for you to be. It feels safe because it's familiar. Whereas where you are going right now actually might be the safest place for you, but it can feel the scariest, it can feel the most unsafe because you don't know what's coming. The mind cannot predict what is coming. And so this is where you have to fully surrender into trust, into faith, into your knowing that everything is going to be okay, that everything is going to be even better than what you can even imagine. But you have to hold the faith and you have to navigate in that void. And so that's a wrap for today's episode. I really wanted to go into this part because it's such an important part that is not spoken about enough. And this is really where the wobbles start to come in, because it's easy to show up when you've got all of that motivation. It's easy to show up in the first 30 days, but it's once you've been doing this and you start to really feel the shifts, and then you look around and you're like, wait, what's going on? And so thank you so much for joining me on this conversation. I cannot wait to see you next week on next week's episode. Please do make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel if you are finding value in this. I love to hear it. And if you are someone who is applying for the one-to-one private coaching, I cannot wait to read your application, and I will be in touch soon. And until next time, keep becoming her.